Today on Dice to Pixels, we're going to let Sarah tell us all about talkie characters.
Sure, just put me on blast.
That's right. This was in our archive of things that we maybe should talk about. We have nothing to talk about, by the way. We're kind of winging it here. Yeah, Chad's gone. Chad's dead forever. He died in the 2 seconds that we were looking for topics. So, are you coming back?
I don't know why, but my brain finished that. That's not fishing at all.
No, but I am today.
Yeah, you're gone.
Oh,
right
I will
now.
totally be fishing today.
Yeah. Sorry, your brain finished that with what?
I think you said something about topics, and my brain finished it with tacos.
Oh,
fuck.
Fucking tacos. Tacos, man.
Oh.
All right, this is now a Taco Bell sponsored stream.
If only.
Get the cheesy gordita crunch today.
Actually, that's funny because Chad was on Facebook Marketplace last night, and someone was selling the
fucking
Chihuahua toy, but the way that they took the picture did not look like in any
like
way.
when you scroll past the Marketplace ad, it literally looked like a fucking I say censored for like
boot plogue.
A Nespi?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, similar.
Yeah.
What I meant to say was thingamajig.
Nespi, I like that. So this was on our archive of topics. Was talkie
characters and NPCs.
Not the guy that gave up adventuring because he took an arrow in the knee either.
Well, I was just trying to think, like, when we wrote that down, were we thinking like Hogwarts style, like, Jesus Christ, I want to blow my brains out if this person says another line?
Well, no,
or were we
because
talking about Dungeons and Dragons?
Because like for that, I know for a fact we weren't mad at the NPCs. We were mad at the main character always saying the same shit going into like Hogsmeade or something.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like fucking, literally the same fucking thing every time
yeah.
he went into Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
Okay, we get it, dude.
Because I could see that either way, but I'm guessing that was in reference to video games.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, my stance on this is always that I would be perfectly okay with games that have I am perfectly okay with games that have no dialogue whatsoever.
Would that include... Do you include ones with like dialogue you have to read, like JRPGs?
As long as I can skip it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, those drive me more nuts than ones that just don't shut up. Because at least the ones that like are verbally talking and don't have the stuff at the bottom that interrupts you playing, you can mute your TV or whatever. But if I have to like skip, or if it doesn't have the full skip the scene thing, sometimes I'm just not in the mood.
When you have to like hit A like 15 times to skip a dialogue, I usually rage quit those games pretty quickly. It's fine if it's like a skip. Like if it's I don't care about this dialogue, move to the next.
Yeah.
It's funny though sometimes skipping through some of that when they're just like, and the question, why, but you can't say but the
well,
jerk flower.
Viva La Dirt League did a video years ago.
Skip. And I must skip, but you have to skip. Oh, I don't know. Skip. You can't skip.
And then the village is on fire at the end. And he's like, what happened?
What am I supposed to do?
I fucking love when that happens to me. I'm playing a game and I'll skip some scenes and then I'll be like, huh? The fuck just happened?
It happens so many times. Like for games that I've played. So whenever I play through like a game the first time through, I'm always like, yeah, I'm invested. I'm totally invested.
Yeah.
And then when I go back and play it again, I'm just like, skip. And then like, dun. I'm like, what the fuck am I, what, huh?
Boss fight. I remember Diablo 3 with Deckard Cain, where you go into his house and it seems like you're going to have a perfectly normal reaction. And then he it fucking burns the house down and he gets murdered and everything. But I skipped that scene and I'm like, wait, the fuck just happened? Oh, okay. I guess I'll just keep going towards the marker on my map.
I just saved that guy and Deckard died? What the fuck?
Yeah. So,
well, Diablo 4, their NPCs were fucking dog shit.
Oh, they were terrible.
Ugh.
So, related to this topic and something that I'll kind of interweave with our discussion here is I was playing Mass Effect. I was trying to play Mass Effect the one day, and full disclosure, most of the time that I play games, I have them muted because I'm watching something on YouTube while I'm playing the game, because I would rather watch a 30-minute video or a multiple hour podcast or whatever from someone whose job is high quality video production and audio production than a video
Like us.
game like us. Subscribe, like. Oh, I didn't check the one. I didn't,
checked because I was.
did it do the thing when I
did
said
not-
like this video?
I like kept scrolling back and I didn't see it.
Fuck! All right, well, I'll check this week's and see if it's changed.
You mean next week's?
Yeah, that's right.
I
No,
mean,
this is
I
this
mean, gone fishing.
That's right. You're fishing. Shut up.
All right.
But yeah, it was Mass Effect, and I forget exactly what the issue was, but it was like the subtitles didn't make sense or something, and it compounded that with what they were saying in the audio was not matched at all to what was in the screen on the dialogue, like typed out dialogue, the
Mhm.
subtitles, and my options when I would select something as my response had no bearing on what was actually said by my character. I didn't even make it through the goddamn introduction before I rage quit Mass Effect because I was like, this is horseshit. Like, I would literally pick like no, I don't want to fucking help you as a dialogue option or whatever, and it'd be like, well, I'm not sure, but maybe I can be convinced. And it's like, that's not what I fucking said. I said, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna go and blow some shit up. That is what I wanted it to say. And it pissed me off so much. I forget the exact dialogue. I'll have to boot it up at some point
Yeah.
and check it out. But I remember being just unbelievably annoyed by that. And so to me, like, that's one of the reasons why I avoid dialogue in most games, is because if it's just other people rambling on, like I do, then I'm like, I'm not invested.
Mhm.
And if you give me options for dialogue and then my character says something that wasn't what I fucking picked, that just pisses me off so much.
Not only is that incredibly frustrating as someone that can actually hear and like unmute the thing, that's an accessibility issue.
It totally is. Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, it was terrible. I will like create a short of it or something at some point,
Mhm.
because it was like one of those things where I was like, that's not even close to the meaning of what I selected.
Yeah.
So anyways, like those are some of the things around why, like, for me, I consider most dialogue in most games detrimental to the game.
Mhm.
There are exceptions. There are things like Wake.
Alan Wake.
Oh, Alan Wake.
Alan Wake. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to say Adam Wake, but I knew that was wrong. Alan Wake, where like it's the dialogue is the game.
Yeah.
But they do it well, so it's
Yes,
fine.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of games I'm like, no, just you're not doing dialogue well enough for me to care.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that and space game that got better, and for whatever reason I can't think of what it was.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. Thank you. How the hell did I not?
Apparently, we've been hanging out too much, and now you
You just knew what I was saying.
no, the buffering is transferring to
yeah,
you now.
right?
Uh-oh.
The way they did dialogue in that game was very compelling. How you like discovered new words as you
Oh,
went.
yeah.
That was super compelling.
Yeah.
That made me care about the dialogue.
Mhm.
Tunic was like that too, where
Tunic was a bit
fucking-
like
where
that,
you
yep.
collected like you had no idea what, even like the manual that
Yeah.
was teaching you how to play. It's like you didn't know what it said until you got more pieces of the manual, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what that means.
Yeah, you want me to care about the dialogue in the game? That's a great way to go about it.
Mhm.
Especially for a game that had no dialogue but like told its story. Like,
yeah,
I mean, Tunic is just
it was great.
fucking great. Such a
Yeah.
great game.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's more games like that where you have to learn the language in the game.
There definitely are, because I remember when I played Tunic, I played it on stream a little bit, and I
Yep.
don't remember who said it, but somebody was saying it was like something else.
Huh.
I feel like there's a bit of a genre there,
Mhm.
and we just don't play enough of those type of game to know it. But yeah, I think it's a thing that's been
Yeah.
done several times.
Because when I dipped back into No Man's Sky, I really liked the learning
that
the
was
language
such a
too.
good idea.
Yeah.
I think I remember that, and I'm trying to remember. I remember watching you. I can't even remember if that might have been me that said that. But
Maybe,
I'm trying to.
I got to stream more games.
Yeah.
I keep not doing it because I keep getting close to it and then just being like, I don't know if I'm in the headspace to like talk to a camera for hours, but I just gotta start doing it anyways.
Mhm.
I just gotta figure out. I'll probably do it on our Twitch channel.
Just call up one of us too, and we'll
You'll come and keep me company.
over the phone. I was gonna say too, another dialogue talky thing that I realize drives me nuts is positional, like triggered dialogue.
Oh,
Because I've been playing Lara Croft, and there's certain times where apparently I just unsurprisingly can't jump on stuff.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yes, and I'm dying, and so I have to do like the entire like stupid little mini cutscene things over and over and over again.
Oh yeah.
And even when you're controlling and playing, there's still times where it's the same line of dialogue over and over and over again. This is like my third time coming here. I don't need to hear about how the wall is crumbling again. I'm well aware of it. That's
Yeah.
how I keep dying.
I don't remember which game it was, and I'm sure there are many games that have done this. For the record, but one of the games that I played was it would only trigger it automatically the first time you went through. Other times it would have a little beacon that you could replay the message if you wanted, but you had to activate it. I was like, oh, thank Christ. And it carried through from one game to the next too, which was crazy. It was like, if you were playing it for the second time, it would like, all of them would be beacons. And you could replay the story if you wanted, but you didn't have to. I'm like, oh.
That's
I
amazing.
was so fucking happy about it.
Yeah. I've been recently, before I went fishing, I went back and I mentioned this a couple episodes ago about how I was playing the old classic, like the 2D Metroids.
Yeah.
And I've done that. I'm about halfway through Metroid Dread again. And, in Metroid, in Metroid Fusion, in Zero Mission, there's dialogue, but it's not like, it's usually like when you check in at a save point or navigation point or whatever, like you'll get some dialogue, whatever. It's more prevalent in Metroid Dread, where you actually have things talking, and then Samus speaks as well. But it's in that the aliens they always speak in like this kind of, it almost sounds Spanish, but it's like different enough that it's not Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's another one where like if you die, then you have to watch like a cutscene again. But thankfully you can fucking skip it. Thank God. But no, it's the same kind of thing, you know. But it's funny how honestly the Metroid series kind of needed something like that. As much as like with Metroid Fusion, which came out I think around the same time as Metroid Prime did on the Game Boy Advance. And it was a good game, and it really fleshed out Samus Aran, obviously the main character in Metroid, fleshed out her story a bit. And how Metroid Dread kind of continues that and whatever. But no, it's interesting.
The dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm generally in favor of written dialogue that's easy to skip.
Yeah.
I can put my own. I can imagine a voice for people if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need voice actors. I don't need any of that shit. And I'd rather that money goes into developing the game, anyways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like the old classic, like 16-bit, where you know if it's a guy character, it's like female, like just as the types going across, like
yeah, and like Sea of Stars and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the same.
yeah.
I much prefer that sort of thing. I can read.
Yeah.
I'm a big boy. I can read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can read much faster than people can speak. So, you know, let's rock on.
And I keep forgetting to bring in that Sea of Stars physical edition.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
God damn it. I do have it. Fuck. I swear to God I do.
It exists.
It does exist. I have it physically. Sarah's proof.
What about you, Sarah?
What about me?
Well, you of the three of us, you're the one who's probably most into dialogue and stuff. Like you play Alan Wake, it's that you're more into that sort of world.
So for me, I think it depends entirely on the game itself, because there's some games that they tell the story so well through the game itself because it's been designed that way that they don't need the dialogue. The dialogue would be a detriment to it. Then there's games where Alan Wake is a great example, where a lot of the story is dialogue heavy because of the style again. So I think, I don't know, it's so dependent on story itself. For me, what I prefer at a time depends on what I'm looking for in a game at that time too.
Yeah.
It's like
so
reading
you don't have like a hard preference one way or the other.
No.
Yeah.
It's like reading a book. I love all genres of books too, but there's times where I want just a high fantasy, I want to live in that world.
Yeah.
And then there's other times where I'm like, no, I just want some dumb cozy mystery or something that I can just, chill out with or whatever.
Scandalous, smutty filth.
Yeah, Harlequin romance.
Yeah.
Video games.
No, he's talking about the fantasy he gives me.
Oh, his fanfic. Yeah.
Yeah, his fantasy. Well, no, he's the one that gives me all the smutty
It's
fantasy
not
novels.
Smut.
Jay Kristoff?
Jay Kristoff is a fantastic writer who does amazing work, and he just writes some very interesting, provocative scenes here and there.
I thought you were talking about the live commentary that he gives while you're playing stuff.
No, I mean like in the actual
I do that. No, that's easy. That's
you
usually
and I do that all the
Oh
time.
yeah. No, that's easy. Like watching Sarah play Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and I just see her like dire, and I'm just like.
Yeah, no, like we
and it's a little smack on the head.
get Chad and I together while somebody's playing something, and we'll do like real-time fanfic narration of the damn game.
Ooh, I want to do one like a golf commentators or whatever. It's like, oh my god, it looks like she's about
when we finally get them to play horror
Elden Ring?
games, yeah,
horror
or Elden
games.
Ring, or
no,
Elden Ring.
I feel like it would be better with horror games
yeah.
because it will like.
They're about to shit their pants.
Oh my god, that was a quite a loud scream at the 18th hour of the day.
Now we'll ask the audience for quiets here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a death. Okay.
See, I would be that guy who's like, okay, now we got to be really quiet, and it's like super quiet and nothing's going on. And then that's when I go like, bah!
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I'll fucking do that. I'll do that to Sarah if I can't remember the last game you were playing that was like scary.
It was Alan Wake.
It was Alan Wake. And she's just walking along, whatever. And I'm just sitting there beside her, whatever, and I'm reading or some shit. And it's just really quiet, and all you can hear is like the crunch of like the gravel or whatever. And so then I'm just like, and she's like,
So one of the things that I would really like to do, and maybe I'll get around to it at some point. It's a little tricky because of the wiring, but I might be able to do it wireless with a battery pack. They make like rumblers. They're basically just very, very low bass speakers, and they're designed to install like under your couch cushion and stuff to give you like the shaking feel of bass.
Oh, cool.
They're part of like you'll hear people talk about like 9.3 sound systems and stuff, which are a little silly and everything else, but that's the sort of stuff that they're talking about. It adds like an actual physical dimension to the sound. I would love to get those installed in the couch for like horror movies and games and stuff to give you that extra like whoa.
It definitely give the butthole something extra.
Yeah, well, no, that's when you put the dildo on top of it.
Oh my!
See if YouTube doesn't like that word. So I
mean the Taco Bell dog?
That's right, the Taco Bell dog. I thought while you were talking about Alan Wake and stuff, I realized that actually, hands down, my favorite type of dialogue in any game ever is the way that Tibia does it, where there's no, like, you don't open a window for dialogue or anything else. You literally type on the command line to say hello and everything else.
Yeah.
Which means, like, there are secret responses that you can get out of NPCs that you just have to know the right keyword to ask.
Yeah.
And so for quests and stuff, it can be really fun because unless you actually know what to say to them, you can't initiate the quest line.
That seems very old school text based.
Oh, it 100% is. But I think it's that element of freedom and that element of like non-discovery or like partial discovery that I like. Because if it's narrated, it's always like, just like, I'll choose this path through the dialogue or whatever. But if it's literally just freeform text, it's like, wish them a happy birthday, and they're like, oh, let me show you to my secret underground party, like rave thing or whatever. Like, I really like that about Tibia, and I think it would be great, especially with ChatGPT and stuff, if new games adopted some of that, where they could do real-time sentiment analysis and everything else of input from the user. Like, you could literally talk to the NPCs.
You are the NPC.
That's right. And they could gate options around, like, hey, you know, is this person talking to me about illegal gambling? If they are, I'll show them the illegal gambling ring that I've got in my basement. Like, imagine how much better Cyberpunk could be if it had that sort of latent discovery layer to the interactions.
Yeah.
I realized as you were talking about like the narrative and everything, I'm like, that is my favorite mode for dialogue, just because it hides it away, but it's there.
Yeah.
You just have to actively look for it.
That feels very tabletop gamey.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually, as much as people don't RP in Tibia, very, very few people do. It is probably one of the like most RP friendly games without any modifications. Obviously, if you mod the shit of GTA 5 and stuff, it's a whole different story. But like mod free, I would say Tibia is probably one of the most RP rich games, vanilla, that I can think of, because it is just like, honestly, other than literally how the name is presented on the screen, the difference between NPCs and players in that game is non-existent.
Yeah.
I mean, you played it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, when you came on and you were playing with me a little bit, I didn't realize
you didn't even know it was me.
No.
Yeah. So that is, I think that's such an interesting way to do dialogue, where it's all there, but unless you go looking for it, nobody's going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. We need some modern games like that, where it's like the modern aesthetic, but it's like, figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, and honestly, I'm sure they exist in the indie sphere.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know about them.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, Tibia is still going strong. You can still play it today, and I keep thinking about going back to it again. But yeah, no, I love that. Just sort of, we're not going to spoon feed you. There you go. You can go looking.
Yep.
But we're not spoon feeding you.
Yeah.
And as a result, because there's nothing to like decompile, there's no narration, there's no audio files. Nobody can like get their hands on the audio file that explains the quest or anything. There are quests in Tibia that in theory are solvable that have been they've been unsolved for like 30 years. Because nobody's figured out the right incantations for the right people.
Fuck.
I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
That's cool.
It's so good.
Nice.
So good.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's your idea games industry. Get the fuck on it.
Yeah, I dig older style stuff. I don't like games that hand you stuff.
So that was the thing, like being an old bastard. I'm sorry, I say old bastard. Being an old fuck. That grew up.
And also a bastard.
Well, no, I'm not a bastard. Mommy and daddy were happily married when I came along. But no, like just back in the day, like we didn't have fucking cell phones, internet, all that crap to look the stuff up. Is like we either waited a month to see what was in the latest EGM Game Pro or whatever, or it was like word of mouth thing. Like, oh fuck, do you know about the blood code in Mortal Kombat for the Sega Genesis? You know, like just shit like that. Like, oh, the 30-man code from Contra. You know, like just it was. Especially playing games like Final Fantasy or Final Fantasy, like here at the time, Final Fantasy 2 and Final Fantasy 3, and figuring, you know, like, oh shit, there's a way to make Shadow live.
Sure, yeah.
Right? It's a bygone era, honestly.
And I mean, even Adrian and I were only a year apart, and I don't know if it was the same for you.
Young
but there was
snippers.
where I grew up, there were not that many people that we knew that had internet in the early mid 90s or anything like that, in the late 90s even, and game codes even then were like word of mouth.
Yeah.
growing up around there, and like finding out the God Code for Twisted Metal games was like
Yeah.
really excited and all
Mhm.
that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly in the NES, SNES days, they were pretty. They existed. You could find them online if you went looking, but you'd have to know the right place to go
Yeah.
looking, and you'd have to have internet access, which, as you say, a lot of people didn't.
Yep.
But and also, I mean, we've talked about it before, but one of the reasons that games tended to be more fulfilling at that time was because you got the whole fucking game in one go.
Oh my
Mhm.
god.
Yep.
It wasn't like, oh, we screwed up that dialogue, so you can't actually finish that quest. We'll patch it though. It's like, fuck off.
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
But yeah. I would just love to see more games do more interesting things
Mhm.
rather than just sort of playing it safe.
Yep.
But that's the indie sphere is doing that, and honestly, I just need infinite dollars that I can buy every indie game that comes out,
Yep.
and then problem solved.
Yep. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not only infinite dollars, but infinite time.
Yeah, honestly, that's actually the big
Yeah.
one. Most indie games aren't that expensive, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have that many hours in my day.
Yeah, I can throw lots of money that direction. I just only have so much time.
Yeah. Have you bought anything in the Steam sale? This is a little old because we're recording a week ago. So, but have you bought anything on the Steam sale?
No, I've seen a few things that come up for sale, but I haven't actually gone over there because I'm like, I'm not going to actually
Did
play
you-
anything.
Do you happen to watch the Spiffing Brit at all?
I have them. I'm subscribed to them. I just haven't
you-
watched anything recently.
Okay. The latest one from the Steam Summer Sale, there was an exploit where, and I guess there's actually an even worse exploit, but the fun exploit. Don't do this, by the way, because Steam will quite possibly ban you. You could go to your cart, you could go to pay with PayPal, and then when it opens that up, you go back in another tab and add. You can in the JavaScript console, you can add to cart with an ID, and so you couldn't add games that cost anything, but you could add games that were delisted. So there was old loot boxes that you could get. There were public private preview games that you could get. One of the ones that he demoed in the video, I think, was the Borderlands media preview.
Mhm.
And you could just get these games in your cart, and because they were free, it didn't change your total, so you could go and check them out. And so people were getting a whole bunch of games that they never could have normally gotten. They were delisted or whatever. Other people were exploiting it by getting rare stickers and stuff and then selling them on the marketplace. And that's gross. But I thought it was funny that you could get the media previews of games and stuff. I'm like, that's cute. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Spiffing Brit is crazy. I don't know how he comes up with all these exploits. I assume it can't all be him. I know he's really good at it, but it can't all be him. He must have people
Oh yeah.
feeding them to him.
Oh
as well.
yeah.
So
I saw Chad just close his timer. Should we wrap it up?
yeah, I gotta go back. I got some fishing to do.
Yeah,
I gotta
you
go
got some fishing to do. Yeah.
Gotta go get dinner.
No, I
For-
don't. My brother does.
Do you ever cook the fish you catch?
No.
No. Yeah,
No.
I haven't either.
Catch release.
One of these
Well,
days.
actually, sorry. If we catch pickerel, we keep pickerel.
Okay.
But
One of these days, I want to go fishing for a day with a couple people and actually do a fish fry.
yeah,
Because I am also catch and release 99% of the
Yeah.
time. But
unless it's pickerel. If it's pickerel, if we catch a pickerel, we
We
keep
keep
it.
it,
But anything else, no.
No, pickerel your nose.
Huh?
cool. Well, we wish present Chad all the luck with the fish catching. I'm gonna be playing Factorio while this airs, probably.
Oh, we're probably going to be playing some Mario Golf because I'm bringing my Switch up, and because
Nice.
that's an annual thing for me and my brothers.
Hell
and,
yeah!
the niece and nephews to do is to sit around the TV and play Mario Golf on the Switch. So
Heck
probably some
yeah.
Mario Kart as well. But
Nice,
yeah, so we're going to be doing some gaming up there as well. But
perfect. What about you, Sarah? What are you gonna be playing a week from now?
morning me be crying because I'm gone, and she's going to be crying herself to sleep. And the game is exactly how much the sheets are going to weigh with her tears in them.
You heard it here.
Okay, that's hard to top.
0.3 grams.
With that said, I think we'll call it there. Thanks so much for watching. We love each and every one of you.
That's a bad heart. Bye.